Imagine a room where the temperature never changes. The light is always soft. The chairs are perfectly cushioned, and the walls are thick enough to drown out the noise of the world outside. In this room, you are safe. Nothing can hurt you. But in this room, nothing can happen to you either. Most of us spend our lives building this room. We call it a career, a routine, a comfort zone. From a biological perspective, your brain is the architect of this space. It is a prediction engine, evolved to seek homeostasis, a state of internal stability. To your nervous system, the unknown is synonymous with danger. Your basal ganglia loves the familiar because the familiar has a low metabolic cost. It is the path of least resistance. But there is a quiet tragedy in perfect stability, because in the language of physics, a system that stops exchanging energy with its environment has succumbed to entropy. It is effectively dead. You are not just relaxing in this room. You are slowly fading into the furniture. We often wonder why it is so difficult to leave. Why even when we are miserable, we choose the familiar pain over the mysterious joy. To understand this, we must look at the metabolic tax of being human. Your brain accounts for only 2% of your body weight, yet it consumes 20% of your energy. It is a biological miser. When you follow a routine, your brain uses a cognitive shorthand. It doesn't have to think, it simply replays. But the moment you step toward the threshold, when you consider a career change, a creative risk, or a new way of existing, you are forcing your brain to engage the prefrontal cortex. This is the most energy-intensive hardware in the known world. Your brain interprets this effort as a survival threat. It triggers the amygdala, flooding your system with cortisol. Metaphysically, this is the gravity of the self. Your ego is not a soul. It is a collection of reinforced neural pathways that wants to persist in its current form. It views your potential for growth as a direct threat to its existence. It would rather you stay a safe version of yourself that is decaying than a dangerous version of yourself that is truly alive. There is a concept in psychology called the Yerkes-Dodson law. It suggests that peak performance and peak meaning occurs at a state of optimal arousal. It is the edge between boredom and terror. In philosophy, this is the liminal space. It is the space in between. When you are in the comfort zone, your brain is a closed book. It is a noun. But the universe is not made of nouns. From the spinning of galaxies to the vibration of atoms, the universe is a verb. It is a process of constant unfolding. By staying in the room, you are attempting to be a stationary object in a moving cosmos. This creates a metaphysical friction. This friction manifests as the midlife crisis, the Sunday scaries, or the chronic sense that you are missing something. What you are missing is the flow of the universe itself. To stay still is to rebel against the very nature of existence. The Polish psychologist Kazimierz Dąbrowski proposed a theory called positive disintegration. He argued that tension, anxiety, and the breaking of the self are not symptoms of illness, but the necessary precursors to growth. For a higher version of yourself to be born, the current version must literally fall apart. This is why getting out of your comfort zone feels like dying. In a way it is. You are killing the predictable you to make room for the possible you. Nietzsche called this the will to power, the internal drive to overcome oneself. Most people spend their lives protecting their small self from the wind. But the will to power suggests that you are the wind. When you leave the room, you aren't just trying something new. You are participating in the self-overcoming of the universe. You are the universe's way of testing its own boundaries. So we must ask ourselves, what is the cost of our safety? If you never leave the room, you will never know the cold. But you will also never feel the sun on your skin. The discomfort you feel at the edge of your zone is not a signal to retreat. It is the growing pains of the soul. It is the sensation of your consciousness expanding to encompass more of reality. In the end, the comfort zone is an illusion. Time will eventually dismantle your walls. Entropy will eventually find its way in. No matter how thick you build the walls of your routine, the abyss will eventually call your name. You can either be dismantled by life, or you can choose to dismantle yourself, to voluntarily step into the unknown and participate in your own creation. Perhaps the goal of life isn't to find a place where we are comfortable. Perhaps the goal is to become the kind of person who is comfortable with being uncomfortable. To realize that the void outside the door isn't empty. It is full of everything you haven't become yet. The door is open. The metabolic cost is high. The risk is absolute. But the alternative is to stay in a room that is slowly getting smaller until there is no room left to breathe. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. And the ocean was never meant to be still. Thank you for wandering with us.